folks, how's it going? This is Trouble in America, Part 2. All right, this is post-Revolutionary War America, and we've got some trouble, and woo! So make sure you have your notes out for this section. It should be called Art of Con or Articles of Confederation or something like that. Okay, so your job is to decide right now. All right. So at the beginning of that paper, that document, all right, there are 5 points of thinking that you need to take care of. All right. So the Articles of Confederation, first of all, is established for our government. All right. This is our first form of government. It's a national government type of thing, but it has limited power. And you might want to think about why would they limit at the power. And it is a confederation. All right. So this is our third time we're going, oh, confederation, this is a good idea. All right, the first one was right, Virginia House of Burgesses, and then the second one was the Albany Plan of Union, and that did not go too well in 1754. Poor Benny Franks. All right, and then now we have the Articles of Confederation. All right, and it establishes the national government, as I said, and the Confederate Congress could not tax, it could not enforce laws. It did have some power to control new territories and make the U.S. bigger. Okay, so the 5 things you need to do. So look at these questions. You can put it on pause and think, and when you're done, you can hit unpause and go to the next slide. All right. So the 5 questions are: how would you create a national government? All right, a new national government. If each state is supposed to be separate, sovereign. All right, that's the whole point. That's what we said in the Declaration of Independence. All right, number 2, identify 2. Uno, dos. All right, 2 ways that the constitutions of all of the 13 states were similar after the Revolutionary War. So how are the individual states all similar? All right. The third question: what common goal no longer exists for all the states? They're like, nope, we don't need to worry about that anymore. All right. 4, in the Articles of Confederation, the legislative branch is the most dominant branch. Why is that? Anyway, and our 5th question: what would you, yes, you allow Congress to do or possibly not do? All right, and jot down 3 areas that you would want them to do or not do. All right, so think about those things, put it on pause, and all that jazz. Cool. Okay, our next slide. What Congress could not do under the Articles of Confederation. Note, there are 6 things listed. 6 things listed. If you look at your paper, there are 6 bullet points. Imagine that. It all comes out. All right. So 1781, 1789-ish. All right. America was under the Articles of Confederation. And even though it had some achievements, it had a lot of failures. And the 6 things that it could not do: 1, it could not tax the people. They could only ask states to pay the taxes, and it was on a voluntary basis. All right, so it's like, nah, I don't feel like doing it. Okay, thanks anyway. All right, they could not get other countries, no foreign nations could loan them money. No one can make you loan money, but no one would do it because they're all like, you're too young, and we don't know if you're going to be around too long, and we'll never get the money back, so forget it. All right. Now, 3rd thing, they could not regulate trade in between the states. They could not monitor the trade. All right. So let's say you're from New York, and you're in New York, and you have a business, and you like some guy, you're like dealing with some guy, not like as, ooh, I like that guy. All right, but you like dealing with some guy in like Virginia, all right, and you deal well with him and you give him a cut rate. You're like, we're gonna do this, a little bit less than normal. But then there's this idiot who lives in New Jersey, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this guy, I can't stand him. All right, and then maybe you jack the price up on that guy because he's not the guy that you really want to be dealing with. All right, so this is the problem. They could not regulate that trade. All right, there was no set rate for shipping. All right, that's bad. All right, 4, they could not protect the nation. They couldn't because we could not raise soldiers. Now, there's a little piece there that's kind of crazy, which we'll get to. All right. Number 5, they could not create a court system. All right. Every state had to do it on their own. All right. If you think back to all the, the Salem witch trials and all that, the John Peter Zenger trial, it was all on each state. And now they're trying to say, should we do it federally or should we do a national, or do we just let the states handle it? And they're like, let the states handle it. And then 6th thing, they could not enforce the law. I already mentioned this earlier, but they could not enforce the law. And it basically caused the people to realize we should probably become a little bit more unified if we want to have a system of law. All right. What could they do? Now you're going, Chambers, there's like 9 bullet points and you only provided 6. Yeah, I'm a jerk like that. And so the 6 bold ones would be the 6 that you should know. Maybe you might want to know the other 3. They're fun to know. All right. FTK, fun to know. All right. I feel like I'm getting whitewashed. Anyway, so Congress, what could they do? They could make war. Woohoo! But wait a second, Chambers, you said they could not raise soldiers. All right. 2, they could make peace treaties once they were in war. They could make the peace treaties. That's a bonus. All right. They could coin money, which means make money. Make money, borrow money. All right. But again, no other country's going to loan it to you. All right. A 4th thing, they could send and receive ambassadors to other countries, which it's boring, but it's important to have somebody to speak on your behalf in another country. All right. They could build and equip a navy. All right. And you're going, Chambers, once again, you said that they couldn't raise soldiers. Yep, that's true. All right. The 6th thing is they could have a post office, the all-important post office. This will come back to you in the War of 1812. Trust me. All right. The post office. It's like essential. All right. 7th thing, they could appoint officers for the Army and the Navy. This is the problem. You have so many people who are officers and no soldiers. So you'd have all these officers going off to war and be like, who's going to fight for us? We hope the people show up. All right, that's the problem. All right, they could, number 8, amend the Articles of Confederation, but it had to be unanimous. That means every single state had to say yes, which getting 13 people to say yes is really, really hard to do. It's true. All right. And then number 9, they could vote in new laws, but it had to be a 2/3 vote required, not a simple majority. This is called a super majority. All right. Each state gets 1 vote. All right. So you do the math as to what would be a 2/3 vote. All right. Now, for those of you who have not been listening, this says turn the volume on. All right, because I'm going to say a bunch of stuff that's not on the slide. I know you're going, Chambers, you're such a jerk. 2 times in one slideshow. I know. All right. So, lawmaking gains for the Articles of Confederation. These are the good things that it did that we kind of still do today. All right. The law ordinance, or the land ordinance, I apologize. First day with a new tongue, of 1785. Land ordinance of 1785. And basically, the purpose of this is so the government could survey the land, and the people who move out there could organize the land. That's the main point, all right? And the land is going to be divided up into 6 square mile townships. This is from the Allegheny Mountains, Pittsburgh area, all right, all the way to the Mississippi River. This is the Proclamation of 1763 area. All right. So you are talking the land that we gave the Native Americans after the French and Indian War, after the 7 Years' War. All right. So all that land, we're now breaking it up into um, 36 1 square mile townships or sections, and it's a 6 square miles. So you have 6 little blocks and 6 little blocks. I'll show you a little bit later, okay? Now, um, that is basically 1 square mile per little section, all right? In 1 square mile, you have about 640 acres, all right? That's the typical 1 square mile for all those people who are interested in geography and stuff. The typical land price back then was $1 per acre. All right. So, and the typical farm was probably about, I don't know, a quarter of that, whatever that works out to be, 160 acres off the top of my head. All right. So that's all that. And there are numbered sections. Some sections were given to religion or church stuff. Some sections were kept aside for later so the government could make more money, but all that was given away. They're like, you know what, we shouldn't be doing these things. All right, there's only one specific section, and that would be section 16. Section 16 is given to public education. All right, now my big problem is what was this whole point? What did they hope the people would do with this land? Well, they wanted individuals to pack up, move west. All right, go west, young man. All right, and they wanted to develop or establish communities out west, and this way the country could make money off of the people. They didn't want the rich out there. All right, sort of. They wouldn't mind if the rich went out there, but they knew that the rich would buy up huge chunks of land. All right, that would be called huge parcels of land. All right. Anyway, they did not want those people to move out there to get all that stuff, and so they wanted individuals to go out there first. All right, because if the rich went out there, they would then sell the land at a profit, and the rich would just get richer, and then poor people would never ever get the chance to move out there. It's just not a good thing. All right. Now, the Northwest Ordinance. Northwest Ordinance, the purpose of that is to divide the land into territories and then into states so the country could then expand. All right. Now you're asking yourself, I wonder how many new states were developed out of this. Five new states were developed out of this. This would be Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and Michigan. All right, so they're the 5 new states that we're going to get. And this is the Old Northwest. I know you're going, Chambers, that's not the Old Northwest. The Northwest is like Montana and Idaho and Washington and all this. No. No. All right, this is the Old Northwest. Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. All right, they're the 5 states that make up the Old Northwest. All right, so, but there are steps. There's always a process into becoming a new state. All right, so they have 3 steps. Uno, dos, tres. All right, so 60,000 people had to be moving out there. All right, if you did not have 60,000 people, you could not become a state. Out of those 60,000, all right, part 2, 5,000 of them had to be voters. Once you had 5,000 voters, you could come up with a temporary constitution. All right, but I know you're going, this is making no sense, you know. So let's just say you had 500 rich white guys move to Ohio, or 5,000, I apologize. They could not become a state. They could set up a temporary constitution, but they could not become a state. They could only become a state once they get 60,000 people. 60,000. All right. Our third step was Congress would have to appoint a governor and a judge to that area. All right. So these are the 3 steps in order to become a state. And why was this so important? Big problems. All right. And big bonuses. 1, we totally ignore the Native American claims. We're like, Native Americans? Who cares? All right. 2, we say no slavery would ever be allowed in these 5 states. In this Northwest Territory, no slavery. We set this up. And basically, this is the beginning of a new argument, or an old argument. But this is going to be a major, major problem. All right. So we ignore the Native Americans and their claims to the land. We basically say that there should be no slaves allowed. And we want people to move west and develop new states. All right. So as I told you, here is a land ordinance picture. All right. So these are the 5 states. You have Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. It says a little bit of Minnesota. That's a lie. You can't find good books these days. All right. And then you have the middle section. See, each little section is 36 square miles. Like that little white piece right there in the center of the picture. All right, that is 36 square miles. And then they blow that up. All right, and they make it look into square sections. And that's how they do it. It's like all broken up. And you could buy a quarter of that. You could buy half of that. One section, 1 mile. You can buy an eighth of it, whatever you wished. Right, that is 640 acres. And each little squarey thing. Here, let me get my handy dandy pen here. So this right here, all right, that is 6 by 6. Well, that's 1 by 1. All right, so you could break that up into half, and you can buy half, and they buy half. So that's 320 and 320 because it's 640. All right, or you could make it into quarters. Look at that, that's pretty. All right. So as I said, 160, 160, 160, 160. All right, acres. That's what they want you to do. They wanted to make it nice and organized, and everything is all set. Got it? All right, finally. So what do you think? All right. That shouldn't be next, but whatever. All right, so is the Articles of Confederation the best option for our form of government, and what changes would you make to this document? All right, so finish that up with that, and let's also look at the 3 big reasons why people did not like the Articles of Confederation. All right, so the problems citizens had with the Articles of Confederation are listed right here. So jot these things down, and also finish up with what would be those 2 pieces there at the end. The Articles of Confederation, is it the best form of government, and what changes would you make? All right, thanks a lot. I know it's a little long, but hey, enjoy. You missed me. I know it.